What's up? What's up? Issradio here at the Issradio studios in Southern California. I'm DJ ISS. Hope you guys are doing great out there. Anyways, I wanted to make sure to show you guys a few things that we wanted to share in regards to DJ software. And it's actually not even DJ software. It's broadcasting software to broadcast and stream across the globe. So one of the things I wanted to kind of do is share my screen here so you guys can see what I was about to show you and what I'm actually doing. So I've been DJing since the early 80s to today, everywhere from local clubs to clubs around the globe, you name it. So it's been a fun experience. And now with the pandemic and everything that has happened, we've tried to really share our music around the globe as we have in the past, but we really try to do it in a very unique and creative way, which is streaming. You know, we can actually start simple with a camera and putting it up to our mixing equipment and DJing across the board, etc. But software's getting more sophisticated and we're very techy. So I wanted to kind of share that with you first, and then we'll move forward on what other things you guys need to do if you're going to be streaming. And again, it doesn't have to be for DJing. It could be pretty much for any type of streaming that you're doing. It just ups your game from just a handheld device to all the neat features that I'm about to show you. So I'm going to drag into my screen the Ecamm software. Now, Ecamm is only for Mac, and that will deter some people because a lot of you are Windows-based people. So if you want to be doing the same thing as Ecamm, you would use something like VMIX. But most of you, if you've upped the game from your devices, cell phones, tablets, etc., you probably have used the OBS software, and you probably have heard of it a lot when you're DJing, when you're broadcasting. And again, I keep talking about DJing because I'm sort of catering this to the DJ world, but it could be done for anything. I'm actually doing this also for my professional tech business, but at the same time, I always sort of cater to the music industry as well and the entertainment industry. So one of the things I wanted to show you was when you do an OBS studio, all OBS really is a production studio that allows you to have multi-cameras, layers on top of layers, music in the background, videos flying in, animated text, and it really looks like a movie, TV production deal when you're actually broadcasting, etc. So if you want to start into OBS, it's not hard. There's a bunch of OBS step-by-step videos that you can look up on YouTube, and it is really easy to do, easy to use, and it is free. So that's probably where you want to start. Now, I've been using OBS for a while, and I've done great videos, very animated stuff, etc. But I kind of found that my game needed to be up and up and up and up and raised up to the next level from me wearing things like this. Let me light it up so you can see it. This LED mask. And it's not just there we go. Boom. It does things like that, fire and so on. So I could do something like this while I'm DJing to actually taking full costumes and wearing full costumes while I'm DJing as well. Now, that being said, what we really like to do is kind of show you the software as I'm building it, because I've gone from OBS to this software, and I really wanted to take it on the journey with you guys to see where we're going with it. So I'm going to kind of break it down. My little one's over there waving at me. I'm going to kind of break it down of what the setup is. Let me bring over the browser screen one more time. And what I do is I have a computer connected to my phone. Now, I'm going to kind of give you a lay of the land here. That computer you're looking at right now, that is the broadcasting computer that broadcasts only the music. So when I'm DJing, which is I'm using this software right here, this is a Pioneer DJ SR2, and this right here connects to that device. And now it uses a USB connector to go to that device. That being said, that device right there allows me to go ahead and mix the music. Right now I'm working on upgrading some software to it. So let me bring it up right now. This is my DJ software that I'm using when I'm mixing live. A lot of people use Pioneer, Serato, etc. And I'm using a DJ Pro to edit some stuff too. And you can use anything for that. So those two talk together. This becomes kind of like a MIDI controller. But what I'm doing is, and then I've got a monitor that I'm sort of doing all my effects and everything on right here. And then the computer over here is actually the one that streams the entire process. Now, you don't need this entire setup. You can actually use a computer with your mixing equipment and broadcast from it, but it does take a lot of resources from the machine. So either your music is going to be degraded or your video is going to be degraded. And I don't want that. So I have one for music streaming, and then I've got one for video that actually controls the entire system. This monitor in the front, I only, again, brought it up here because I wanted to do a dual screen animated sharing kind of thing. And I'll walk you guys through that of what I was meaning. And also showing you some of the overlays that we were actually going to receive. Okay, so this is only the reason why I had this lens, that we call it a Zoho lens, to kind of show you the lay of the land. To give you in another spark, we've got a microphone set up here. We got some lights going on there, a ring light right there, a mic stand, speaker goes to my right, and a mini speaker to my left when I just want to sort of do small editing going on, and again, everything else going on there. And my little one hiding behind the screen. Okay, so I'm now going to disable this holodeck. Let me move this back out of the way. And I'm going to put this phone down. Okay, so now what I wanted to show you, and I wanted to show you my layers of how I'm layering. So when I'm mostly DJing, I'll pick a screen now. I have multi-cameras here, so I can kind of show you the different cameras that we are using. Here's a camera, here's a camera, here's a camera. And then when I'm facing you, it's actually this cam right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take you through the setup of how I set this up and why it's important. So when I start DJing, when I decide I'm going to broadcast live, I need an intro. I need something that's going to be playing some music and a nice video while I'm prepping and making sure that my audio, video, and equipment is working before my set. Those are called scenes. So the primary scene, think of it like when you go to a show and the curtain's up and you just hear some music playing in the background. They're prepping the show for you. So we're going to go to the intro scene, as I call it. This could be any video, any animation. It doesn't even have to be animated. You can just put your logo. So I'm going to move a few things out of the way. You'll never see these screens. I'm just kind of showing you behind the scenes. You could put a timer. It could be super fancy. Mine's just simple. I can show that in about 20 minutes, I'm going to go live and DJ for everybody. So when that's the case, I can have music playing. I don't have that turned up right now, as it would loop on this stream. But I can have that just going while I'm testing things in the background. When the timer hits 0, I can automate it to go here on my left-hand side, or I can manually do it to go into my main screen, which is here. Now, it doesn't have to be this camera. I could definitely go to this camera. This is where I'm DJing. And I'll be like, what's going on, everybody? Israel Galindo here at the Issradio Studios. I'm DJS, etc. And I can handle that one. As you can see, that's a nicer camera than the other cameras that I have. They're all webcams. You can do mirrorless cams. You can do any type of camera, but I'm using webcams. What you're looking at right now, let's start there. This is just the camera that's built into the Mac. Low resolution, nothing high-end, etc. Now, the camera above me, that is a 4K cam. And one of the things I can do, so it actually looks like my hands are in the right spot, this is my right hand technically, is I could mirror that screen so it actually is showing which hand's right. This is right, this is left, and so on. And then I can also zoom this in and really bring it to show you as I'm seeing it. I'm going to flip it over, and I can do a zoom and pan on it and really get it centered so where I need it to be right there, and so on. So then I can take it to my other camera, which again, this is more of my broadcasting camera, my DJ camera. This camera gear, another webcam. I like Logitech cams, good cams, so that's something that you guys should invest in. They're not expensive. The upper camera, again, let me take you to that one. That is also a Logitech 920, and I believe this is a 930. They're 1080p cameras. And then the camera I'm about to show you is an older bullet cam from Microsoft. Not as great in video, and I mean, look at it. When I move, it's very, very blurry. This is an older camera, but the reason why I have this camera is when I'm sharing my screen to this camera, when I'm teaching something like this, I want to look at the camera versus not look at the camera. So I want to make sure we do that one. Keep it over there, Emily. Monkey. Anyway, so I want to look at the camera over here. So again, not the greatest camera, but I kind of wanted to show you a 4-shot system. Now, having 4 cameras already ups your DJ game or your performance game, as well as your interview game if you're interviewing people or if you're wanting to, as I'm saying, as I'm talking, like I could go at this camera and know that I'm about to talk to you in the music equipment, and I could turn over here and talk about my DJ equipment and look at you there, as then I can turn into this camera and talk to you directly to that. So I've got my face side to side and so on. That being said, now the next step is showing you the different scenes. So this software, what it does, it's really broadcasting to anywhere you want it to go to. And because I'm recording right now, I've got the finish button on the bottom right hand side. Because I am recording live to YouTube, I could record to Facebook, I can record to YouTube, I can record to Twitch, I record to SoundCloud. I can record pretty much anywhere I want out there. And there is other places that you can record to at the same time, because a lot of us want to make sure that we share at the same time to different locations. So let me kind of show you Restream.io. That is a application that you can use that allows you to stream at the exact same time, multicast to all of these different places. Now remember, when you are multicasting to different places, the more you add, the slower your machine does get, because it's trying to send the same video stream to different locations. So a place like Restream.io, what it does, it will definitely get every stream on the cloud pushed out there. As you can see, all of these ones that I have here. I'll get it when I'm done. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you can actually add as many locations. Mixcloud is my favorite place to mix, and the only reason is because it does not stop copyrighted audio on my streams. I will not get blocked. The only catch for that is when I'm done, it will not replay the stream in video. It'll only replay the stream in audio. And a lot of us like the audio anyways. You know, you're driving in your car wanting to listen to something, but sometimes it's nice to watch video as well. So that's something that you want to invest in. I think I paid $24 for that. Now, Ecamm, the one that I'm kind of saying and that I'm showing here, and again, they're not sponsoring me on this. It's just something that I really enjoy. This one here, I'll drop you in some pricing so you can see. I'm paying for the Pro, and the reason why I did the Pro is because I wanted higher end support, as well as being able to do interviews with people. You can get away with the standard. The standard is fine. So I'm going to move that out of the way so we can back into the screen. So basically, when you create something like this, you would start up here on the top left. You could create a folder. So let's just create a folder, and then I have a company called Advanced Networks. I can create a folder like that. Now, when I could create a folder like this, and I would add what we call a scene. Now, when we talk about a scene, it could be a camera, it could be a background, it could be pretty much anything you want to add. So if I was going to add a brand new scene on here, I could call this one first scene or front scene. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. But I don't want that camera. Maybe I want that shot right there. Maybe I want this shot right here. Doesn't matter. You know, you can do whatever you want it to do. In your first scene, you can also add a video instead, or an image. You know, let's just go with some cool images. Let me see. Let me find something in here. This is just some overlays, some videos. Yeah, let's just do a video. Here, we'll do this one of a guy DJing. You know what? I'll give you guys a funnier one. Let's use this one right here. Now, what's going to happen is when you build your scene, you got to layer things. And the top layer is going to be what always lays on top of layers, like a cake. If you have a see-through overlay, as we call it, with your logo and everything and some cutouts, then you want to add layers on the bottom. Your videos will always be in the back end. So for this example, I'm going to give you this lady on here. I'm going to drop it in what we call the current scene. And here she is playing. I can have her in the corner as I'm talking, or I can just totally keep myself out of the picture and do something like this. Now, when the video ends, it stops. I want it to loop. So what it's going to do is just going to keep looping. That would be, again, my first scene. Now, let's just say I wanted to add my camera so I could be talking to you in the corner. So what I'm going to do is on the left-hand side under overlays, again, we're on the first scene. I'm going to take and I'm going to start building out my scene. You know, I want to add a logo. You know, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go up a level and I'm just going to go to some logos. So let's just take our logo here, PNG, and I'm going to shrink it and I'm going to drop it, you know, over here in the corner. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and add another scene, which is going to be a camera. Now, what's cool about this Ecamm is I can change the style of my camera. If I want to do a square, you know, for now, let's just do a round video, and I'm going to sit over in the corner. And then I'm going to take you some cool things right now about the camera, so I'm going to side swipe it for a minute. On a lot of these screens that are here, nobody gets to see that. That's just behind the scenes. But you know, I've got some scenes, some sound levels, some overlays, sound effects over here if I wanted to do an applause. I'm doing applause there. And then I've got my cameras on the top right. Comments and reactions. Anybody, you know, is out there at YouTube, I can say, hello, YouTubers, you know, YouTubers. And then what that'll do is I'll go out there and people can go out there. Now, the cool thing about this, I can fade any comments that people write on here, you know, and then I can fade them out as well. That's one cool thing about that. Now, another thing is I want you guys to follow and subscribe. You know, I can do something like this. Boom. And I can, again, fade it in, you know, so you guys can see right there. And fade it out. Now, I don't have to just show mine, but the reason why I was going there is I wanted to take you over to the cameras. Now, the camera that I have here is, this is my left hand I'm raising, and it's opposite. So I'm going to mirror my cam. There's my mirror. I can rotate it. I can do anything. But the cool thing about each of these cameras is if I don't like the color or the temperature, I can change it. Look, because my shirt is actually red. And I can tell by the tint it's not giving me this right saturation and everything. So I can go here. I can make it darker to make it look pretty. I could go brighter. I could go, you know, less bright, dimmer, etc. And I can go like that. And I think that looks better. Now, if I really wanted to up the game a little bit, get my, you know, get my lights turned on here, my ring cams, and do that as well. So there's so many cool things you can do as far as the camera action. It's funny because now I don't like the tint on there. Let me switch my tint a little bit. But as you can see, I'm adjusting my camera. Now, maybe I want to make this camera take most of the screen. I can go on here and I can switch it to custom. When I do custom, I can then enlarge it, stretch it, do what I need to do, and, you know, really work on the magic of that. Now let's talk about layers. You know how I mentioned that layers are on top of each other like a cake? Now you notice that my logo is behind it. I can bring the layer up above me, and there it is. If I bring Brazilian above us, you won't be able to see me, and that's because it's layered in that direction, layered top down. So that's one of the things that, you know, you really want to do. Maybe I want to look cool and just drop my logo right there. There you go, right? Or bottom, you know, bottom left, and maybe something like that, and that would look a lot cooler. So, oh, hey, Marcia, what's up? I see you just on there. So, talking about comments, here we go. We could add, you know, somebody like Marcia just said, this is a fantastic tutorial. Then I just say thank you. Hey, Mark. Anyway, so things like that, you know, we can definitely add to the show to make it cooler. Now, one of the things I want to show you is you can get these, what we call overlays, in regards to how things flow and how things move, etc. Let me show you one cool one that I found out, because I'm in the nightclub world or DJ world. I could do something like this. Let me bring this one over, and we'll just animate this one, and we'll layer it a little bit above the Brazilians. I'll stop the Brazilians, and then I'll loop this here. So now what happens, as you can see, is, let me start the video. There you go. You know, nightclub action going on, and instead of having my round window, I want to have my, you know, my square window. I want to do my round window, so I'm going to go back this way, and then my logo will go right there, you know, above my shirt. You know, maybe we'll make it a dash smaller and put it right there. So now that you can see, you know, I've got my layer set up here. Now, every single scene that you create on the top left is going to have its layers. It's going to be pre-produced and canned. Think of it like if you're going through a scary maze. You walk into one room and it's already preset with monsters and lights in a certain way. Then you go to the next one and so on and so on. So what we want to make sure we do is we get those scenes correct. Now what I could do is I could take my scene that I have here and create a new one, or I can duplicate it. Maybe I want the same things but not everything. So to save you some time, I'm going to duplicate that scene and I'm going to call this main interview. And what I'll do in that main interview, because now I'm working on my second scene. See, I'm going to show you guys. On my main scene, I'm going to get rid of a lot of these things that I don't need. I don't need the Brazilians. I don't need the nightclub scene. I don't need any of those items. So I'm going to get rid of those. But then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get a little deeper. So what I'm going to do on that is, let me get over to my visuals and my logos. I think it's under my overlays. Here it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this gal, drop her here as my background, and that's going to be my background. Now, the cool thing about that, I can start prepping my main interview window. You know, I can do a video of dancers playing in a club show. I can do any of that stuff. Another thing that I can do is I can then bring you guys the master screen. If I'm teaching you how to DJ, I could go here and I can actually bring you my DJ equipment, which is right there. Now, when we have something like this, let me customize it so we can go a little bit bigger. So let's just say I'm talking to you guys in regards to that equipment. As you can see, layers are layers. Layers are good to do. And for this one, I'm going to take this camera and zoom it over in regards to it matching the way I'm looking at it. So I'm going to take a look at sorry, I'm in the wrong cam here. Let me go back into my current one. There it is. And let's pull this one down. Let's mirror this. Let's do it like that. I'm going to zoom it into a little bit and bring it to what I want to show you. Let me bring the block there. So now that I've got it set up this way, you can still see me as I'm talking and then talking about the equipment. Right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, you know. As you can see, it's actually reversed because that's actually my left hand. So I'm going to uncheck the mirror. Now, there we go. Now, when it comes to that, I can talk about the fades and the this and the that and all of that stuff and really keep this one. Now, this is a good view to have because I can continue to talk about the product that I'm talking about and continue to flow that way. So this is a really good scene to have, and I'm definitely going to be using that in my other items. So when you go by scenes, you can automate them or you can make them happen automatically, etc. So what I'll do is I'll go to my first scene, and it's this one. And on this one, I don't really want to show my camera because I don't want to have my face in the main video. I just want to have my Issradio logo playing on here. And then what I'm going to do in the logo is I'm going to enlarge the logo like that. So say you were just coming into my set and I'm about to do a countdown of 10 minutes when I go live. So I'm going to hit the little counter on the left-hand side here. You can, again, change it by different type of, you know, type, style, fonts, etc. I want something fun, something like that, you know, something like that. That looks kind of fancy. But for now, we're just going to use this Gale one. So when we do that, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, and you can actually control also once it's in here where you want it to be. So for me, I want it to be in the black area, you know, to kind of show, you know, it's going to go live. So let's go right there. So something like that, you know, it'll show you that I'm actually going to be going live in 10 minutes and so on. And once I've got that happening, if I wanted to, I can go, you know, in the comments. Again, this is when I'm already live. You can add text. I'm doing it in the comments just to show you. Test. Actually, you know what? Let me do it that way. Let me do it in the comments section so you can see. So I'm going to add a text and I'm just going to say, going live in 10 minutes. You know, there was something like that. And then maybe we'll do that and then bring the color background a little bit to a different color. There you go. And then, you know, what I'll do is I'll have it show up on there or show up underneath the actual counter. You know, maybe we'll do that, do something like this. And once I've got that going on, then, you know, it'll show you that I'm going to go live. And then I can bring it back into this window that I'm in right now, and then we can create the next scene and the next scene and the next scene. And again, you can do as many scenes as you want to do. as long as you drop your overlays as you need to in here. You can do anything. I can bring in something animated from the cloud without actually having to download the app first. This right here is animated overlays. Again, this is club images, something like that. So let me just kind of break you down on that one and show you what that means. So, and I've already shown you the overlays on the videos and the visuals, but I'm going to pick one. Let's go to this one right here. Yeah, that's a good one right there. So I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in the overlay, drop it on here, and I'm going to loop it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this underneath the other items that I want to show. So something like that, right? Now, obviously, this, I can move it around. I can go here, you know, just kind of keep it something fancy. Maybe keep it something like that. And if I don't want to show something for the audience at the time, I could technically just turn off certain things. So you've got the nightclub dancers, you've got the camera. I can do that for now and just keep it going, you know, and then maybe fade my logo in the middle of it. And then I can bring it back up. So that's something that you can definitely, you know, play, work, do something like that, and keep that moving if you want to do it. And if you want to get rid of it, you know, you just kind of get rid of the screen like that. There is overlays you can do when it comes to, let's say it again. Yeah, there is overlays that you can actually do. Go ahead, Mike. When it comes to being able to get animated cutouts, if you will. Think of it like when you're getting a piece of paper and you're cutting out certain areas so you can see certain things in the background. Again, those are overlays. So you can do certain overlays like that. So let me give you an example of a cutout overlay. So I'm going to take the girl out that I had there in the background. And then I'm going to go back into my overlays on here. And I have a cutout that actually, and it's without my logo. I'm going to, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it with the logo. So let me bring it in here. Now, this overlay, if you can see, let me turn off a few things to just give you a better view. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's bring her back in the picture, and we'll keep me in the corner. Now, see that overlay that I have? It's actually a faded cutout. It's called a PNG file. That cutout right there, what it's going to do, don't hit your head, is it's going to put this layer over me. Now, this is one that I have created. There's Emily right there. It's hanging out with Daddy. Anyways, that's something that we created that allows me to add all my different pieces of equipment that I want to show. Now, let me move that out of the way. It'll show different things from my streaming on Facebook to YouTube to Twitch, etc. But one of the cool things about that is this overlay can be added in different formats. It doesn't have to be all the way transparent and see-through. You can actually make it end up being a full image and something like this. This already has the overlayers over it. And it has an image in the background and so on. It's just something that looked pretty neat, pretty fancy. So again, going into scenes like that is something that seems to be very helpful for a lot of streamers out there to ensure that we can do a great show. So taking you back to my original one that I had on here, if I was to do something like this and allowing that first stream to just play while I'm prepping the equipment, and then scheduling it to go on the 20-minute mark as it did the countdown to go into scene 1 or scene 2. You can schedule it. And again, you can manually do this. So then you can go to whatever camera you're on. Now, because when I'm talking to you, I'm switching over to this cam on here. And Emily is waving hello. So then we can go to, the DJ camera, which is the production camera over here. So I'm, mixing music, etc. and working in that area as well. And then we can just go back to the DJ table. And you remember I showed you guys me in the corner. It seemed like a pretty cool thing to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that layer that we did in the corner and adding that camera in a circular motion like that. I really like that. That was actually pretty cool, keeping the DJ in the window when it's happening. Now, because I'm facing this way, and I'm mixing this way, some people like to see the DJ's reaction, clapping, etc. So I can keep that. But at the same token, if I have a switcher, automated switcher, what it'll do, it'll switch between my cameras. Now, the 930 is, again, my production camera from music. So I'm going to be coming over here, mixing here, and you can see my face really as I'm adjusting music and that. But I can actually have it scheduled where it's going to different camera actions. Obviously, we don't want the mixer because we already have that. And this is the camera I use in front that I'm not too fond of because of the quality. But in reality, I can have myself in the corner. I can have anything I want in the corner in a circular motion. And again, let's switch over to the built-in one here for the Macintosh. All right, so once we've got something like this, then again, you can add anything you want to it. You know, the example of being of adding a logo. You know, I'm going to go back into my logos again and then drop it one more way on here. Let me drop this one. And again, remember the way that you shrink it, overlay, things like that, you can do something like this. Now, for me, when I was showing you, I was really fond of dropping the logo right by me. So I'm going to take it right there and play with it, you know. Maybe I'm not too fond of it there. I'm going to move it down there. So something like that, you know, would work good. Now, when I'm moving, I don't like that the logo is kind of sitting in front of me. So what I'm going to end up doing is finding a different location for it right there. Or just keep it right by the name. You know, it doesn't really matter where you put it. I mean, I could technically put it over the CDJs if I wanted to and make it fancy. That's better right there. Let's do something like that. So, okay, so the only other thing I wanted to kind of share in here is you can bring anything you want on it. Another cool thing that this software has is it has what they call interview. Now, interview is really cool. Think of it like Zoom in reaction to that. Now, for my world, for the DJ world that I'm doing, I can actually Zoom a bunch of people, say dancers, and have the dancers around my window dancing as I'm playing. Or you can have, you know, you're doing a festival, you can have a picture of the festival. So what it does is you could turn on this interview and have this copy link set up. And then that link is then copied to a application that you can send out to anywhere that you want to send it to. And again, when you have that, you'll have people in the green room and you can have people come in. Maybe you have a guest DJ that's going to be DJing from, say, Jersey, and you want them to go on right after you. Then you can actually take that interview process and you can be the broadcaster and streamer of the rest of the team that's on here. So that is something that you definitely can do. I just kind of wanted to give you a quick behind the scenes view of how this flows. Now, last thing I want to show you is a lot of people are talking about virtual cams and not a lot of people know what they are. Virtual cams, what it does is it'll make this entire production into a camera itself. So everything you see on the screen, every layer, everything, that little square of my window will become active. So I could take this virtual cam link. I can open up something like Zoom. And once I've got Zoom on, I can select my camera to be this software. This entire window, minus all the menus, is going to show up as a production window in my Zoom stream. So I can have a lot of fun with it when it comes to any software. You know, StreamYard is another one that you guys can use out there, and that's actually a really nice one to do. Zoom is always obviously another choice. Obviously, the audio performance on that is not too much quality when it comes to music versus something like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, you know, you can add comments, animations, videos, overlays, anything that your heart's desires on it. All right, I'm DJ ISS Radio. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you on the next one.